Hi, I'm Jameson Newlander, Alan Frog from the Lost Boys, and you're watching the Frog Brothers Podcast.
It's refreshment time, folks.
Are either one of these any good?
Do you like scary movies?
I don't watch movies.
I have to return some videotapes.
You have a TV? No. I just like to read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. Don't need a TV.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me Shell. It's the fucking truth.
Over 1,600 titles, each for rent at just $2 the first night, and only
Finish him.
I don't watch TV.
Yeah, but you are aware that there's an invention called television, and on this invention they show shows, right?
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
Okay, I want channels 18, 24, 63, 109, 87, and the Weather Channel.
Welcome to the Frog Brothers Podcast with your hosts, Justin and Alec.
Hello, and welcome to episode 102 of the Frog Bros Podcast.
Welcome back.
I'm Justin.
I'm Alec.
And I'm Nick.
So, we got some good stuff to talk about tonight. So, we'll jump right into the news.
So anyway.
Do we have news?
Yeah, I have some news. I'm going to talk about this Pete and Kanye shit because it makes me laugh.
Go for it. Jump right in.
So I got some screenshots of some interesting shit I've come across this week. And while we do this, I think what we're going to do is play what is sort of a theme song for Kanye. It's not one of his musical pieces, so we don't want to get, anything,
Was it
claimed.
The fish stick song?
No, but it's something that is very fitting to his character, at least as of recently. Little windmill music for you. Calm down, little Kanye.
Little music box music
okay
for Kanye. Has he bought a white Ford Bronco yet? Because they've got those out again. And the minute he buys a white Ford Bronco, the minute I'm assuming is going to be that he's ready to go and really take care of Pete Davidson.
Does he have any white friends to drive him?
I don't know. So there's these screenshots that have been posted everywhere now of it's clearly Pete Davidson screenshots, and people have edited some of the screenshots together from shit that he's posted. And he says, "Yo, it's Skeet. Can you please take a second and calm down? It's 8 a.m. and it don't gotta be like this. Kim is literally the best mother I've ever met. What she does for those kids is amazing, and you are so fucking lucky that she's your kid's mom. I've decided I'm not gonna let you treat us this way anymore, and I'm done being quiet. Grow the fuck up." Yee says, yay, I don't know, yay, is that how you say it? Yay. I don't want to say that. I just want to say Kanye just to piss him off. Oh, you using profanity. Where are you right now? And this is where it gets hilarious. Pete responds, in bed with your wife, and it's a picture of him sticking his tongue out, giving the peace sign while laying in a bed shirtless. And Kanye says back, happy to see you're out of the hospital and rehab. And Pete says, same here. It's wonders what those places do when you go get help. You should try it. I'm in LA for the day if you want to stop being a little internet bitch boy and talk. You don't scare me, bro. Your actions are so pussy and embarrassing. It's so sad to watch you ruin your legacy on the daily. Kanye responds, you're more than welcome to come to my Sunday service. And Pete says, that's like his church shit, right?
I didn't know he did that.
Apparently he does, because he's a lunatic.
He's starting a cult now, I'm sure.
Pete says, why don't we meet after Sunday service and Saints game? I'll be at the BHH. We can have food and talk it out of my room privately, one-on-one, man-to-man. What you are doing to your family is dangerous and going to scar them for life. Please handle these matters privately, bro. I beg you. Kanye responds, you want to see me? Come to Sunday service. Pete responds, this isn't public, dude. I'm not here for pictures and press, which is obviously all you care about. My offer stands. It's funny because he did share this. I do see the irony in that statement, at least.
Yeah, he keeps it going, so.
But he hasn't been responding publicly or anything. Like, this is the first kind of big response we're seeing from Pete. And he's still just like, man, you're a fucking lunatic. And he says, my offer stands. I wish you'd man up for once in your life. Let me help you, man. I struggle with mental illness, too. It's not an easy journey. You don't have to feel this way anymore. There's no shame in having a little help. You'll be so happy and at peace. You have no idea how nice I've been to you despite your actions towards me. I've stopped SNL from talking about or making fun of you for which they've wanted to do for months. I've stopped stand-up comedians from doing bits about you because I don't want the father of my girl's kids to look bad out there. I have your back even though you treat me like shit because I want everything to be smooth, but if you continue to press me like you have for the past 6 months, I'm gonna stop being nice. Meanwhile, Kanye West's Instagram, which is always hilarious, he takes a screenshot of Pete Davidson's Instagram. He sends it to someone and says, "What's this guy's address?" The person responds, "I believe his real name is David Pollock, not blacked out stuff. Originally from Atlantic City, Brooklyn. He lived in apartments his whole life with others." Like, Psycho, little baby man.
Allegedly.
Yeah. There was a guy that had something and just clearly shows you how easy it is to throw it away. But the fact that he's got his own church cult now, too, is even crazier.
What a wiener.
It's pretty twisted.
In other news, William Hurt died.
I saw that.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Most people these days might know him as Thaddeus Ross in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Hulk, Civil War,
Some recent
Infinity
stuff
War,
too, right?
Endgame, and Black Widow.
Black Widow, yeah.
And they were thinking that he was going to be, doing that whole Ross's Thunderbolts thing, where he was in charge of, like, the other Captain America or whatever, U.S. agent and shit, and the sort of asshole fuck-ups of the MCU. But we'll see what happens with that. Poor dude's dead. Won an Oscar in, like, 85 or something for some movie with cat in the title. I can't remember. Should have written that down maybe, but...
Yeah, maybe you should have taken notes on that.
But I'd never seen it, so it's not like I was going to pretend, like, I'm an expert in William Hurt. I looked at his thing, and it was just like, oh, there's a bunch of movies in here that I'm interested in. I probably should watch now, but haven't seen them before, so I'm not going to pretend I'm a big William Hurt fan. That's why I mentioned the MCU stuff, because I've seen that, but hey.
Fair enough.
And they announced they're doing Deadpool 3.
Mm-hmm.
The director of that Free Guy movie.
Did you see that yet?
No.
I had it on the background the other day. It wasn't like necessarily my cup of tea, but it was entertaining. The concept of it was entertaining about AI just kind of becoming self-aware in a non-Terminator way in the gaming world. So
What's like a background character in Grand Theft Auto becoming self-aware?
Yeah,
basically.
It's entertaining enough. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite movie ever, but...
Yeah, it definitely didn't look great to me. Everybody else thought it looked great, and I was just like, I don't know, man. I'm just over it. For me, I think...
I wouldn't call it great.
They had a lot of those, like, big video game movies after a while. Like, the first really good one that wasn't even entirely a video game movie for me was Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, yeah.
Which had a lot of video game elements, but that's because the graphic novel it's based on did, too. But it was also Kevin Smithy because it combined geekdom with, like, rock music and not just being a nerd.
Yeah, that kind of really set its own genre up with the following it off the books.
And then you had that Pixel movie, and you had what's that Steven Spielberg
Ready Player One.
Yeah, that one was decent.
Ready Player One, the book I found much better, but again, it's just like the Jurassic Park thing where they had to change so much of it to get the pacing up because the first third of that book is really fucking slow.
So you should have done a TV series. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they could eventually.
They should always do that.
But they also, the author of that also did Ready Player 2, which I haven't read yet because I was waiting for paperback. Because I'm lazy like that, because I'm cheap. Because I had the first one on paperback, so why would I want to get the second hardback? And then I got a mismatch, so then I got to get...
Well, you can get the second hardback and then get the first one.
Yeah, then I got to do a lot of work.
Well, who gives a fuck? Just have one of each.
That's true. But I'm running out of space.
That's about all my news I have written down. So
the Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection looks pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah. Was that May 13th?
Did they have a date on that? I don't know if I even saw that.
Yeah, I asked Jerry. Yeah.
Looks pretty cool. They've got all the classic games on there.
13 different arcade and console games, and
The original NES games and stuff like that, and the
I
original
think
arcade
so,
games.
but I didn't see that advertised. By
Manhattan Project?
Yeah.
Manhattan Project's
Okay,
included.
cool.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was
Turtles
looking
in
forward to.
Time, and then the original arcade, and
Okay, those are the two I was questioning mostly.
it's
Those are the
all
ones we had growing up.
local co-op. I don't think there's any online co-op. I don't remember though for sure.
I don't know if you really need that. I would rather play that with friends in the same room.
So would I.
Right, so
Yeah.
I think that'll be a good one. We'll do a review on that one. I really want to play Manhattan Project again. That was such a good game.
Hopefully they're the full versions because it seems like some releases they cut out some levels.
Not necessarily. I think that's typically the arcades don't have as many levels as the home
Arcades
releases.
had less levels. Okay.
So yeah, because you're at an arcade. So like with Turtles in Time's that way. So if you've ever played Turtles in Time at home, there's some extra levels that aren't on
Okay.
the arcade
I had it
version.
backwards, but yeah. That's cool.
And then I don't really have a lot else in news besides that I started buying toys for my toys. So Alec has a few of them too, but miniature toys that go for your toys. You may have seen that on our Instagram, so keep the likes and shares up.
Pretty
Got a
much.
little pool table.
They do make some small pool tables, yeah.
And they got small.
Especially if you get that full size
use a little-
firehouse replica, that would be cool.
Well, that'd be good also just to have, because you have the. Grave little toaster.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you could also get just a regular toaster for the more realistic photo shoots.
I mean, even still, I bet I could just get a 1/12 scale printed, 3D printed pool table and do that.
But felt. You want it to have real felt, don't you?
Oh, well, yeah, you'd 3D print it and then hand paint it and finish it.
And put your little felt
Put
on
your
it.
own felt on it.
That seems a lot more work than just buying a one you could probably buy.
I don't know. Some of that shit's way more expensive than you'd think for the, like, dollhouse scale shit. Yeah, I've got a bit of a cold or something, so my fucking voice is shot. My eyes are runny.
Come on, kill me, I'm here!
I thought we were going to make you wear a mask.
Nope. I decided not to.
It's going to get us all sick.
Hopefully you got your flu shot.
He is COVID negative, though. I don't
Yeah, I
have
was
flu shot.
negative on that tonight, but I'd already had it.
Well,
so.
those tests aren't 100% either.
Yeah, we're probably dead.
Well, when I had it, like, the thing changed colors, like, immediately, and today it didn't even change at all, so. So let's get into it. Do you want to talk the movie first, or do you want to do the little segment piece? I'll let you handle that, because you've got the buttons in front of you.
What did we decide in rehearsal?
You know what I just watched?
Me pulling a can off some moron's fist?
Return of the Jedi.
Did you see Alien? When that creature was in that guy's stomach?
Oh my god!
You ever see that really old movie? Empire Strikes Back?
Jesus, Tony.
Welcome to Retro Release Reviews.
Tonight's feature film is from the year 2006. It's called The Departed, directed by Martin Scorsese.
How much is this?
I don't know, $1.99 or $2. I paid,
Jesus Christ.
It's quite big.
I think I paid $2.02 for it at the Family Dollar by the post office. I'm on my way over here.
Oh, Family Dollar.
I had
Give
to
you
drop some.
$5 if you sit on it.
I don't think I've had some incredibly large poops in my life, but I don't think anything that compares to the girth of that.
Well, coming out, I think, is probably easier, too.
I mean,
We got plenty of lube here. I do. Anyway.
that just reminded me of that scene in Fight Club. There's like, I've got plenty of lubricant and toys.
I have plenty of pornographic movies.
It's a sad moment in that movie, but
Yeah.
goddamn, it's relatable. That's for sure.
Slide.
So, Ricky Cop Billy Costigan, played by Leo DiCaprio.
I'm not a co-op.
Co-op.
Boston.
Frank Costello, performed by Jack Nicholson. So this
I'm
movie
Jack
starts off.
Nicholson in this movie.
It's very vague. And the intro, it says some time ago or some shit. And you're like, okay. In
Yeah.
Boston. And
I mean, like 2 weeks ago.
When Matt Damon was a kid.
my favorite part of this is how lazy they are with the lighting on this, because they don't want to bother de-aging fucking Jack Nicholson at all.
So
they
it
always-
doesn't look much different.
Basically they had his hair dyed or they had a wig on him, and like that's the only difference, because like there's scenes where someone's well lit and he's not lit at all.
But that's the thing. I didn't even think about that. I never have thought about that when I watched this, that he's supposed to be that. I just never even thought about it.
Well, I thought when they did the time jump, I was like, he didn't look much different.
The only reason I was thinking of that because like deep fakes is such a thing now. Like nowadays they would have done that completely different and probably.
Well, I mean, obviously because Scorsese did the fucking Irishman and fucking.
I still haven't watched that.
I haven't either because I just don't think I could stand to watch it with all that
a lot of
de-aging. I don't think I could do it.
I intend to watch it. I just I don't know. It's probably 3.5 hours, so I gotta make that.
I haven't gotten around to it yet. Yeah, I need 3.5 hours to get used to it.
3.5 maybe. But
there's a lot of fucking people in this movie.
Yeah, I forgot about Martin Sheen and Baldwin and.
Ooh, the Vera Farmiga. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but.
Oh yeah.
She's in Up in the Air too.
She was the mom in the Bates Motel.
She's also in Godzilla, and she was in Hawkeye. She was in Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
I still haven't watched Hawkeye. I gotta watch.
Yeah, she's great. Like you forget how great she is as an actor. So
she's like 50 now, I want to say, but
she still looks pretty good.
I mean, this is 16 years ago, so. Yeah, but still, yeah, I'm saying.
She's looking pretty good.
Doesn't that make you feel old? I was like, this movie's not that old, and I'm like, it's 2006. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, that's almost 20 years ago now. That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody change my diaper.
I'm old. I'm going to die soon.
I shit my pants. I'm going to go to coffins.com. I have to pick one out.
I'm getting cremated.
You're still a lot younger than us, though.
It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, but I live a more extreme lifestyle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you do.
See, if you get buried, you can't get your ashes turned into cubic zirconia and put on someone's butt plug that they can wear around the rest of the
I don't want to do that. I want to be smoked.
Well, that's fine,
whatever
too.
my family is left is going to smoke my ashes. It's like you're going to have to... It's going to be mixed with weed. But you have to do it because otherwise it's like you're not obeying my wishes.
Is it going to be like how high were they gain?
Better hope you die first.
Are we going to gain your intelligence? Like in how high?
Sure.
You're not going to know.
And that's
Tupac did this. This is how Tupac went.
That was the reason.
That's one of the stories. Wasn't it? Probably.
You're not going to know when you're dead anyway, so it won't matter.
And I want to be baked into a pie and fed to someone unknowingly.
Wait, what kind of pie?
A hair pie.
Hair pie.
What's your favorite
16
pie?
candles. I don't know, blueberry pie.
Okay. That's one of my favorites. Yeah.
But I don't know. You might have to bake me into something like pumpkin. You know, like something the different texture where it'd be less noticeable. Like you'd have to fucking turn me into chicken nuggets. Like blend that shit when I'm fresh. Like 10 minutes after I'm dead, you better be like, who has a fucking industrial-sized blender that can handle a human-sized corpse and turn even the bone into goo?
What about like mincemeat pie? Or a pot pie? Pot pie. There you go. That's perfect.
No, because I want it to be a
pot
delicious pie.
If you want people to smoke your
pot
ashes...
Pot pie is delicious.
They would just mix the ashes into the pie crust.
But it's called pot pie.
It doesn't mean...
I'd rather be blended and turned into chicken nuggets and fed to people because fuck them.
At McDonald's?
Yeah.
I mean, by the time we die, that may be a thing. Let's see.
People who still want to eat meat that badly.
I'm sure it'll be a thing.
You could volunteer to be Tyson Chicken McNuggets.
Uh-huh. Pink goop.
Yeah. We pay you $10,000 now for your corpse when you die.
Silent green as people.
Or more like $100 though.
Yeah, knowing them, yeah.
Marky Mark's in this too.
Marky Mark's in this.
Yeah, we're talking about flesh blending, but Martin Sheen, Alec Baldwin.
Uh-huh. Leonardo DiCaprio.
That's the cast.
Matt Damon.
Matt
Matt Damon.
And those guys look...
Mark Wahlberg steals the show in this.
He is. He's fucking amazing.
He's
fucking colossal dick.
He's a fucking insult comic.
He's an asshole.
Then he disappears for a while, and then he's at like the very end.
That was the redeeming moment in that for me too, because like he's so upset and pissed, and you're like, oh fuck yeah, he gets to come back and
he was the good one. Really.
I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. That's my Jack Nicholson Boston impression. I don't have a gravelly enough voice. I've been smoking all these years. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he was altering his voice too much.
He wasn't alternating his speech pattern, but he did give an extra inflection to the words for sure.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have all that extra twang to it. I I like how he gives him a Wolverine comic.
As a kid, have some comics.
You like comics?
books?
Well, yeah, once you realize, like, the kid's,
You like bologna and cheese?
kid's dad's dead.
You like Huey Lewis and the News?
Yeah. Yeah, but he loads him up with food and shit. So then basically at that young age, he's already planting himself a cop. He's like, oh, fuck, this is a good opportunity.
Yeah. And I like when it's just kind of going through that montage of shit, and it shows him shoot a couple on the beach. And then he just starts laughing. She fell funny.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think you should talk to somebody, boss.
That wasn't Nicholson, was it?
That was Nicholson who shot. He said, they fell funny.
And that was in the flashback scene when he's younger.
For some reason.
Yeah, no. Because they have the umbrella on there. He's like, he doesn't want to get rained on while he's fucking executing somebody.
Jesus Christ. It's depressing.
It's fucked up, isn't it?
Anthony Anderson, too.
Yeah.
Forgot he was in this. I like when he's in some serious and different stuff. He's good in Scream 4 as the cop who gets fucking eventually murdered, like most cops in horror movies. But
And Shipping Up to Boston plays regularly throughout this movie by the Dropkick Murphys, and everyone, like, this is, like, I think what helped that band become, like,
mainstream, borderline.
Yeah.
Like, associated and played at bars and shit when it's fucking St. Patrick's Day and it's Irish bars.
Yeah, outside of the Boston area in general. Like, everyone in Boston knew who they were.
And the punk bands and punk scene people knew who they were, but later, after this movie, it was definitely like... By the time I stopped giving a shit about them, they were in this movie.
Yeah, I think I listened to, like, their first 3 albums, and then by this, I was like, okay, Shipping Up to Boston, that song's kind of fun, but I'm still like, whatever.
I'm just not crazy about some of the Irish band shit.
Yeah, it's some of it's fun. You know, it's not something I listen to on the regular. So, like them and Flogging Molly, I can listen to a little bit, but I don't need a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't take a crazy amount of notes on here. I just kind of took out some things that really, stayed with me.
How fucked up are you? And it's just like the weird looks Leo's giving. He gives a lot of angry stares in this movie.
Cop.
Not a cop.
A fucking cop.
And then I love how you get the background of him falling out of the academy and all that shit. And
yeah.
So he was a cop. And then they suspect there is a cop in their ranks. I would be pretty certain it was him, right?
Well, I mean, they basically give you that whole speech.
He's not a very good actor when he confronts him either. He's like very obviously guilty.
I don't know.
You don't really get much into his background. Like they set you up with it's not Billy, but it's Colin. They set you up with Colin because he's got a loyalty to Frank just because he helped him out when he's a kid. So he's kind of that fatherly role model to him, even though he's taking him into the bullshit.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit more of his motivation for doing that. But he even tells him, like, you got to get an education, dumbass. Which is kind of one of those things. He's like, no, that's,
And the whole thing with Martin Sheen and Mark Wahlberg talking to Leo, you get a little bit of the backstory, but it's kind of weird the way they talk about it.
With Billy, they basically talk about his family members a bunch of fuck-ups, so therefore you are a fuck-up by association.
Yeah, but they know that he also has, like, SAT scores and shit, and he's brilliant and should be, and they said he should be in fucking NASA and be an astronaut and shit, not being a fucking state cop. Statey
cop.
We call the state cops.
Yeah, that shit's quite crazy. So the beginning of this kind of sets up the two relationships that you see with Frank and how everyone's kind of interacting with everyone else.
Leonardo's cousin is forgot the actor's name, but he's in a bunch of Judd Apatow shit.
Yeah, he is.
He's in Freaks and Geeks as a drug dealer.
Yeah, he looked familiar.
He's in Pineapple Express. Some other shit. Several other things. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't want to think through all of Judd Apatow's movies right now. But
he's in the one that we still need to do with the real Ghostbusters lunchbox. One dancing with Jacinda. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's that guy. He's pretty good though, man. He's got a good amount of depth.
Why do you got blood on your leg?
Yeah.
Period blood. Super bad on the leg.
You remember that? And then he's trying to steal all the booze with the soap dispensers. You're like, you didn't think to rinse that out, huh? You're just gonna mix it with the soap and kill people? Oh God.
Oh yeah, the whole cranberry juice thing.
When he fucking smashes that guy with that fucking glass, that was pretty cool. That was a good scene.
Yeah.
He's like, there's certain people you can't hit, and there are certain people you can. And basically, he's like, and this is really close to being someone you can't hit.
And I'm going to make a ruling on this right now.
Yeah.
You don't fucking hit him. And then he's like an asshole to that guy, too, though.
And then he fucking whoops his ass after that guy mouths
Yeah,
off
he tells
and
him
says
who he
something.
is, and he's like, eh. And he's like, then he starts hitting him.
Fucking lays his ass out, too.
And then he's like, what are you drinking? Cranberry juice. What are you on your period?
Yeah, and then he's fucking sitting there, and he's like looking at him like, is he bluffing? And he basically said, get him a cranberry juice. Like, he's disgusted by it.
Yeah.
Which, that's another thing. They don't really explain, like, why he isn't a drinker.
Another classic line.
'Cause he's on duty. He's like, oh, I'm supposed to say that.
She's on her way out. We all are. Act accordingly.
Yeah, that's the truth, isn't it? That's a good one.
And then when, they take Leo in there and they're, like, searching him, and they fucking break the cast off his hand and shit, and he smashes his hand with the boot and shit. It's hilarious.
That scene is fucking intense.
You know it would hurt a lot, but the boot smashing still looks a little goofy. Because, like, it wouldn't hurt that much if your hand's not broken like his.
Yeah, well, they basically break the cast
Well,
off
they
to
already
make sure he
bashed
doesn't
it on
have
the
a...
pool
Oh,
table,
exactly.
so, yeah.
But
Well,
then
they
he's moving
yeah.
it around a lot, too. He's like... And I'm like... I don't know how
did-
broken that thing is.
Luckily, he didn't have a wire that day.
Well, no, because then he throws the cash at him, and he's like, go get this thing fixed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could have been healing a little bit, but to break a fucking reset bone already? Fuck that. That was pretty intense. And then he throws that fucking wire. He's like, he's out already? Later on, he's like, yeah, I ain't getting fucking killed over this shit.
Yeah. I like the hand in the bag. Reminds me of Batman Returns.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. I'm Fred's hand.
Yeah. A little patience.
He's basically just
and a lot of
intimidating him
tape.
with it, too, just for no reason.
Yeah.
Taking the ring off in front of him and shit, casually, just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Just showing, yeah, he has no fucks given. And Frank's actually a pretty good villain in this because he's charismatic, and he's also dangerous without being too one way or the other. But he does definitely have some of those Joker vibes in there where the shit that tickles is funny.
Yeah, at
a
one
little
point he
twisted.
laughs kind of like the Joker.
Yeah. This is the most similar to him being the Joker again, I think, that I've seen. So, that's
For sure.
interesting. Sullivan has erectile dysfunction, it's implied, or premature ejaculation. I think the way she talks, it's more erectile dysfunction, though.
Yeah.
And he's just like looking down, and it's like
So
never mentioned again, other than that one little scene,
So maybe not his baby.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have been like, well, wait a minute, my dick hasn't been working. How are you pregnant?
It's cost against baby.
That was one thing they didn't get to. But that was a pretty good way to interweave a woman in there that
I
she's
think
working
he
with.
figures it out at the funeral when she's crying.
Oh,
But
yeah.
then he
does.
doesn't live very long after that, though.
No.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, I like when Alec Baldwin's freaking out, and he's like, after the first, like, raid at the warehouse or whatever, and he's like, I'm gonna go smoke. You want to go smoke? And they're like, no. And he's like, what are you, a fucking fitness freak? Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. And then he just walks away really quick and goes and smokes. I was like, that's the best scene of Alec Baldwin in this movie.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The other thing in this movie that I love is when Frank goes up to the Catholic clergy or whatever you want to call them, and goes up and he's basically calling them a bunch of fucking pedophiles. Then he circles back to that later on and fucking makes another joke. I'm like, God damn, I fucking love this.
I love that at one point. He was also just like, early on he was talking about that when he was a kid. He was like,
oh, you think he was diddled when he was a kid, maybe? And
no. He was talking about that when Matt Damon's character was a kid at the beginning, I think.
Oh, okay.
He was talking about, like, how the church is bullshit and, like, they just want your money. Like, he was making a big deal about, like, kneel for no one and shit.
Yeah, Liz even pointed out, she's like, yeah, that's the kind of dialogue you'd write. And I'm like, yep, I would definitely find a way to shoehorn that into this.
Very, very good dialogue in this movie.
Fucking classic. It's well written.
Another Mark Wahlberg line, often quoted. I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Yeah, you must be the other guy.
He's not. He doesn't seem like he's always very good in movies, but he's good in this.
He's very hit or miss, but, like, Basketball Diaries, that's him and Leo again. And they're heroin addicts in the 90s at a
or I should say
Irish Catholic
he doesn't seem
high
very,
school church, I think.
He doesn't seem very good recently, anyway, I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really seen him in anything I liked the first Ted.
Yeah, he does a lot of
And-
comedies now, and then of course,
Shooter was okay, as far as like the political thrillers go.
Yeah.
But that was back in when I was playing Call of Duty a lot when I watched that. So what are you gonna do?
you were a Call
That
of
movie's
Duty guy?
actually...
In like 2006 on PS3,
Yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, who didn't fucking play that game?
we would get drunk and I would play that shit and be unbeatable.
Oh, God. Yeah, there were some crazy nights there doing that.
When they get to the social security numbers and shit, they need to get everybody's social security numbers and bank info.
The citizen's envelope.
It's not how you spell citizens. It's
Yeah,
fucking
retard.
morons.
He didn't know how to spell it, and then when Leo wrote it, he's like, "That's not how it's spelled."
Well, I love how the FBI's got an informant or somebody in the inside as well, and Frank's also an FBI informant himself.
Yeah.
There was another FBI informant.
Huh? Did you not catch that?
I thought it was just Frank. They didn't
No.
know, they didn't know who it was. And
No, they sent to the wrong address. It was 344, and this guy that dies in the couch
But
after
he-
the...
But I thought they said the
He's like,
police
I s-
are claiming he's a cop. Just so
Yeah,
they'd stop
exactly. I think
looking
that's
for a
what
cop.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah,
I think that he was about to call him out, but was asking him, "Why am I not going to call you out?" So I don't know. I think it's still up at the air. I think
Yeah, I
it's
guess it
open
could
for
go
debate.
either way,
But
yeah.
they were saying that the cops just said he was a rat, so we won't look for the rat.
Right.
So I don't know.
So I guess it could go either way.
Could
but
be,
it's-
because like on the
it's
newscast...
not set in stone. For
the
sure.
newscast after that basically implies that he was the FBI agent that died.
But yeah, when they're showing the newscast, it zooms out and then Frank reacts to it and says that.
Because that's when they're talking shit on that guy. He's like,
But
I
would
fucking dragged that guy around all fucking night.
But would it make sense for Jack and him to be FBI?
Could be. I don't know. It's basically just kind of implies or lets you think that, he was
Well,
gonna
that guy
say
could have
that-
been FBI, but he was an informant. Frank's just an
Like,
informant.
was
He's not
actually
an FBI agent.
He was actually FBI agent. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it implies that, the only reason he didn't say anything is because he knew that he was on the inside, too.
But he could have also been heading to the wrong address when Martin Sheen fell off the roof.
Yeah, that's true.
Leo shows up in the rain to the doctor's place and is like, "We should fuck," basically. But also, he sees the photo that earlier Matt Damon was like, "Oh, we can't have this up in here in the living room. People will see this." And Leo's like, "Oh, this is beautiful," and whatever else, and he hangs it back up on her wall.
Yeah, it's the
And
contrast that they have between characters, right, of these
Yeah, you
men.
can see that she's like, "Oh, that made me wet."
Yep.
Wetter than I already was for Leo, because it's Leo.
Yet, she's thinking for her own future that Colin was the Sullivan, he's the guy because, he's working on his law degree, all this other shit. I love how she calls him out on that. She's like, "Why are you going to law?" Because I fucking work full time.
I like the theater meetup. He pretends to masturbate and come on him. And he has the big fucking
the
dildo.
rubber dick. He's like, "Why do you think?" He's like, "I own the place."
Of course you do.
Leo could have easily been spotted, I feel like.
Oh yeah, that's one of those things where you're like, I
Jack's,
don't think it actually
looking
goes
that
down
way.
quite like this, but I don't know. It's still cool. And then that scene where he looks back at the fucking camera and shit, and goes back and later tries to delete the shit or whatever, and Queenan gets killed.
He didn't go back and try to delete it. He just goes back to look up to see if he
See
can
his
identify
Leo,
the other
yeah.
guy. Because those are traffic cams, I think.
But he was
is what
probably
sees
going to
or
do
whatever.
both, I would
so,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, he accesses that shit. But yeah, we forgot Queenan actually died too, fucking off the roof.
Yeah.
Shit's
That was
fucked
a
up.
pretty gutsy move, too. I didn't think they'd kill him off like that the way they're playing it. And he's like, "No, man, you got to protect yourself." And then he takes the fall for it. So it's pretty well done.
Watch your fucking mouth.
What was that? To his
No,
girlfriend?
you watch it.
You sure you're not getting all hot talking about going up butts? Or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Watch your fucking mouth. Very
Very
homophobic and racist people here.
Sullivan uses Queenan's phone to call Billy. And is just hangs up like he's nervous because he wants to bang him.
Yeah. They're pretty clever with that when they turn the video off during the interrogation as well, and uses the other guy's phone. He's like, "I was never in there."
Yeah, and then this is kind of where Frank fucking is revealed, after the big another warehouse shit, he's revealed to be an FBI agent too, or informant to Sullivan, who then he tries to shoot Sullivan, and Sullivan shoots him in self-defense and kills the shit out of him, and is like, "You fucking rat."
Which is funny because he's so pissed at him that his mentor basically was a fucking rat himself, and he's spending all this time fighting this shit. So yeah,
He was more worried that he got ratted out himself.
and he was so fucking close to having Billy fucking laid out, is believing all this bullshit until Billy sees that fucking envelope on his goddamn desk, which is a good turning point because at that point in time, you're like, oh fuck, are they gonna have a shootout in here?
Yeah, I like that. And then he goes and tries to basically delete the evidence of him existing and being undercover and shit.
And then Billy gives the doctor his stuff, saying, "Hey, if anything happens to me or you don't hear from me, take care of this for me."
She has that moment where she's listening to the fucking tape and pulls it out and is like, "Fuck you, you honest, dishonest prick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking peg you to death tonight."
And that was interesting too, because it just such a good character story arc for people, because she's not like fucking self-righteous at all. She knows she's kind of a piece of shit too, based on what she's doing.
This is very much like, it reminds me of Pulp Fiction in the way that Pulp Fiction does very stereotypical gangster movie things, but does it so well that you're like just completely accepting of it. Like the whole rat plot.
Yeah.
Is like, how many times has that been done in movies before? So many times it's a thing, you know.
Well, it's been done,
trope.
but it's those characters, it's the cast of characters around it that makes it work, right?
And just the better, different, and brilliant writing. I mean, this is a good movie for the writing and stuff, too. And I mean, I haven't seen all of Scorsese's movies, but what I've seen, I've mostly enjoyed. Raging Bull is the only one where I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah, I've seen it, just to say I've seen it, and that's kind of it with that one. It's not terrible, but it's just not very memorable for me in that way. And part of that, though, is very specific to the Vietnam, that area. So, like, if you live through that, I feel like it would have a much more cultural impact to you personally.
He's just like, the character's a wife beater and shit, so it's like, fuck this guy. And he's a boxer, and I don't give a fuck about boxing, so. But they have that confrontation on the roof that's pretty dope. And he gets a hold of him, and Anthony Anderson comes up there, and he ends up getting in the elevator. He's like, you know me, because, they went to the academy together and shit.
And that was a pretty good unexpected scene there when the other cop is there and he just fucking shoots him.
Yeah, I forgot Leo dies. It's like, pop.
Yeah.
He's like, you think you're the only one that he had
The
on
first
the
time
inside?
watching this, because that's the character you like the most, obviously. You're just kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's the main character.
Yeah.
Well, and then the fact that how bad it pisses you off when Billy's still alive. Or, sorry, no, when Billy dies and then, Sullivan's still alive and he's carrying on all this shit and you're like, what the fuck? And I want to have him get the highest award.
Yeah.
And you're like, fucking prick.
The award, Merit Award.
Merit Award. The highest honor.
It's like a gold star.
And then the classic, him returning back into his apartment for Dignan to be in there, dressed in all white with fucking slipcovers on his shoes and a fucking silenced gun.
I love how he's fucking dressed to the nines. He's got he's got a hairnet on too, I think, and the booties on there, so he's very fucking thoughtful with it.
Yeah.
So.
Do they do test screenings for movies like this?
I'm sure they do.
I always think, the ending always gets bad ratings from the test screenings, so they go back and do reshoots, and it's like a lot of movies wouldn't kill off the main character.
No, with this, I
think it works. It's called The Departed.
No, it is good, but I'm like, a test audience be like, I don't like
If
that
you want
the
to
main
complain about the
character
ending
died.
of this movie, the only accurate one is that the rat climbing is a little on the nose.
Yeah.
Given, that being said, though, I think that's the whole point of the movie. Everything is like that. It's just it doesn't seem as in your face about it, because it is a really fucking typical story.
Yeah, the story on paper is very basic. It's the portrayals and the performance by
and the
everyone
twists
that really,
throughout and interesting
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, the characters.
Because they're all kind of tied together, right? The police psychiatrist or the psychiatrist
Exactly,
they're
getting
helping out and
getting
stuff.
boned by both of them, who are
Yeah.
side switchers.
Like that part is very.
I'm getting boned by the evil guy who pretends to be good and the good guy who pretends to be evil.
Clearly, we know which one she prefers.
The one without erectile dysfunction.
Probably so.
Yeah, because Leo also says to Matt Damon that his only contact was a shrink or whatever, a police shrink.
You
And
realize
she's
how
she's crying at the funeral.
how dated this movie is in a few ways. Obviously, the cell phones in there. Yeah. The old flip phones that were common at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the dialogue's a little outdated. Everyone's calling each other, like...
guineas and...
Not even that. They're just, making a lot of homosexual jokes and insults.
Scorsese does that because these old gangster types. I think it would be... In his older movies, it makes more sense, but...
Yeah.
Whatever. There's an N-word or two in this, too, I think.
Yeah,
That's Jack
one of
Nicholson's
them
character.
very early on, I think.
I don't necessarily think it takes away from anything in watching the movie now, because it sets you into the tone of how these people really talk, so there's that fine line of dialogue.
It's fine if you have that word in there, I'm saying, as long as you're prepared that character is now portrayed as a fucking monster, basically. Like,
Yeah, that really changes
I want
the
bad
dynamic
characters
of
to
them.
talk like this. 'Cause it
exactly.
makes sense.
That's what I'm saying.
They're-
Like,
Yeah.
I don't want bad characters to be progressive, necessarily. Or expect them to be,
although Chucky is super progressive in the new Chucky show, and it worked. Yeah,
I think he was bullshitting that guy.
He's progressive throughout, man. And he does support his child.
He comes around in that movie, but I don't think he really...
In the Chucky series, he's pretty much, I
think he was working that kid, though. I don't know how much...
He was, obviously, but I'm
He's
just
trying to work
saying.
every kid in that series.
Like, Chucky's almost an anti-hero in that show because he's murdering mostly assholes, too.
Yeah.
Mostly. There's like one or two innocents, I think, but like the maid and shit.
Yeah.
She didn't deserve that, but...
No. Not at all.
That's why you don't point your knives upwards.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly why.
Yeah.
I have that fucking fear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's that. Let's talk about,
I just set my notebook down now that I fucking need it.
It's not really a Shark Tank, but...
What is this?
Welcome
to Shark Tank.
That's what the music is for. I needed to do a pitch in the summer tentpole music. I just never did.
Yeah, pitch in a summer tentpole. So tonight we're talking about a Batman sequel idea. We didn't throw out a lot of rules,
Batman sequel.
but it could be a sequel to any Batman movie, but it's got to be a sequel to something that already exists. That was the only rule. Who wants to go first?
Not me.
Not me.
Justin.
Okay, I'm going first
and then Alec.
All right, so I had to go with a Batman Tim Burton sequel. So I'm going to pretend like Batman Forever never happened.
A Return sequel.
Yep, Batman Return sequel. Directed by Tim Burton.
Is Michelle Pfeiffer in it?
No.
Ooh.
I thought that would be too easy to throw her in there. I just said, there's some...
They did reshoots just to make it so she was still alive. Come on.
Yeah, well, I did things that, like some Easter eggs implying that she's still around, but...
Is Val Kilmer Batman still?
No, Michael Keaton.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Michael Keaton all the way, baby. So this time there's two new villains, but at the beginning we're going to kind of see him in the middle of dealing with the Scarecrow. And I was going to have Keanu Reeves be the Scarecrow.
Whoa, I'm totally the Scarecrow.
Like, get hello to my fear toxin.
Batman, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, I'm not thinking Bill and Ted's. I'm thinking more of,
They always sound like
He sounds like that. At least in the early 90s he still did, but I mean...
Yeah, but still.
I mean, even in The Matrix he kind of does. Whoa, it's The Matrix? What's The Matrix, dude?
And then my other villain, because Batman would be fighting the Scarecrow as this kind of begins, and so we see him get thrown in Arkham. But the main villain would be Crispin Glover as the Man-Bat. Because I think he can kind of play that crazy kind of a character, and I think that's just something
I'd be down for that.
I just think that's something Tim Burton would have done then. Like, how do you take that Man-Bat character and have somebody that's interesting?
Does he keep his head while he's Man-Bat? Is this like a Crispin Glover's head on a bat?
I'm gonna get you, Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because it would be
He'd be a good Riddler.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be good in lots of things, though.
Yeah, but I just thought him as the Man-Bat, because he can, like, play this, like, weird scientist guy and then just be this crazy monster, too. And then, of course, you got to cast Robin. And Robin was not a fucking grown-ass man that he was in Batman Forever.
Yeah.
I went with Matthew Lawrence, because he'd have been about 11 or 12 at the time of shooting this one.
The Blossom guy?
Mm-hmm. Wait.
What
is this one of the Lawrence kids?
Uh-huh.
No, he
Matthew Lawrence as Robin,
that young. What year
Jesus Christ! What was wrong with you?
What year was Blossom?
Any other child actor? Fucking Macaulay Culkin, please. Anyone? I'd rather have Macaulay Culkin as Robin.
No, I just thought he's kind of fucking cringeworthy enough that you need him as Robin because there's no way to not have a cringy Robin.
Oh, Christ.
Besides having an unknown.
Joe Pesci as Robin.
Well, unless you did like...
Hey, fucking Batman, let's go kill this guy.
Unless you did like Damian Wayne, where he's kind of like a little asshole.
Oh, Christ.
So that's who I cast there. So yeah, it's not gonna be a great sequel, but it's got some of those Tim Burton vibes, man.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought about doing a...
Who would Tim Burton cast as a kid then, you think? Was there any kids he used in any of his movies? Tim Burton?
Winona Ryder as Catwoman.
Winona Ryder
Young
as...
Selena
No,
Kyle.
Winona Ryder as Robin.
I mean, I'd watch it. That's a Robin I want to fuck.
Okay. All right, Nick, you're up.
No, it's out.
Anyway, I thought about doing erasing Batman and Robin and doing
So it's a Batman Forever sequel?
No, I thought about doing that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just mentioning it because I feel it's still worth mentioning.
Oh, you want another Val Kilmer movie, you said?
Yeah, that'd be interesting to me, I think.
It's better than fucking changing the actor every movie, yeah.
Yeah. But then obviously you wouldn't have Schwarzenegger as Freeze, and I don't know who you would necessarily, but like I'm not going that far.
Everyone
with this
always
other
said
one, but I'm
Patrick
saying.
Stewart back then just because he was an old bald guy.
What I've got is erasing Dark Knight Rises, calling it Dark Knight Returns, just because.
Well, that's kind of what happened.
I know, exactly.
Yeah. Well, he returns anyway.
Obviously, you have Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Gary Oldman back. Since Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow's still alive, you bring him back. Not in like a big way, but kind of a...
Like he was, kind of a cameo.
But not a cameo, but a little more than a cameo.
Bigger.
And then Marianne Cotillard, who played Ra's al Ghul's niece or daughter or whatever the fuck. Her daughter.
Oh,
she would instead play...
Dark Knight Rises, the one that played...
She would instead play Poison Ivy.
Talia al Ghul. You don't want to get her... Is she a redhead? You want to get a redhead?
I don't care. She can make her redhead.
Julianne Moore or something?
Catwoman be Jennifer Lawrence. Based on her being Mystique, you know, pulling that off. And just for the fuck of it, Idris Elba as Victor Freeze.
I was gonna suggest him as Lucius Fox in mine.
I think he's just buffed enough. I want to see him do some badass shit, and I think he could be a villain if you've seen him be.
Well, he's a villain in the new Suicide Squad.
Well, there you go. I mean, he's enough an asshole, yeah.
Oh fuck, what's his name? I can't remember the character's name.
But that'd just be interesting, I think. No, I didn't try very hard on this, obviously. I mean, what are you gonna do?
We whipped it together when we got
I
here.
definitely didn't.
Well, we know you don't try very hard.
Well, you guys tell me like right before we start shooting, and I'm still watching Leprechaun.
Well, you knew the homework from last week.
I watched him, featured him last night. It's a strange double feature.
Yeah, I don't like watching them a week ahead of time though. I like keeping them fresh in my head.
Yeah.
And we're recording a day early.
So what's your Batman?
I'm gonna do just the sequel to the new one. I'm not good at casting, so I'm not gonna do the casting thing. But I want to see the development of Bruce Wayne into
just a Bruce Wayne series, no Batman at all.
No, but how they
seen
said
him like running Wayne Enterprises and stuff.
No, but they said like there's no Bruce Wayne in the first one. I want to
called American Psycho.
I want him to develop into that Bruce Wayne facade where he's running the company and doing that stuff and pretending to be a playboy and all that stuff. I want to see that kind of develop. Now that he thinks he needs to be a symbol of hope and stuff. And the mayor called him out for not using his money for good and stuff like that. So I want to see him do that.
Well, that foundation money was all stolen, though.
Catwoman back?
Well, he still got money, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe a little bit.
Gordon's back.
No focus. Yeah, definitely Gordon. A little bit more with Alfred, maybe. Trying to think villains that I didn't do last time we did this.
Riddler, Joker cameos? Anything?
I just don't want Joker again. I really don't want Riddler again as any focus because we already did that in the first one.
I just don't think they
Riddler.
Yeah, I know. I just don't think it was done well enough. The ending of him, anyway. But whatever, he got what he wanted. They basically just ripped off Seven. He is fucking Kevin Spacey in that.
Well, I'm
movie.
curious to see the deleted stuff that they had with him interacting with Joker, like doing the
Silence of the Lambs.
yeah.
What
I
villain
think
are you
that'd
gonna
be-
go for then?
I don't know. I was trying to think because last time we did this, I said Hugo Strange and something else. I would like to see Mr. Freeze done more seriously, but
Who would you have as Mr. Freeze?
I don't know. I'm not good at that stuff.
At modern times.
Patrick Stewart.
I'm here to freeze you, Batman. That's a very terrible Patrick Stewart, but
Yes.
I'd be interested to see them try to do it. I mean, how do you gonna do a guy with a freeze gun in a more grounded Batman film?
Well, I don't know. This
Would
whole
he not
Batman
have
takes.
a freeze gun? Would he?
I mean, this is like Batman Year 1 and Year 2 is what that was really founded in. So you're looking at those specific series of comics. So I don't know what villain. I mean, a serious Mr. Freeze would be really cool, but how do you get there?
if you look
I
at
don't
Gotham, their Mr. Freeze is a little more serious, and it's interesting.
Does he have a freeze gun? Okay. How did they do that?
He just has a freeze gun with some weird technology built because he's Mr. Science Man. It ends up feeling a little more like Marvel shit, where you have to have, like... They built on it, with, like, Tony Stark doing all that tech shit and having the Iron Man suit is not as far-fetched as, obviously, the Guardians of the Galaxy, but you worked into that shit.
Yeah, like the first Iron Man suit's the suit, and then later on he's got nanotechnology that just fucking hides on his body.
Like, Thor is a fucking alien, and that's pretty close in there, but they also, Hulk was the second movie in there, so that's also pretty out there.
Well, that's the thing. In this universe, is there even going to be Superman? And like, how grounded is it going to be?
This is why Superman works alone.
Yeah. So I guess Superman was in that universe. I do want to.
I'm Superman.
I do want to see them have Harvey Dent in the second one, but not become Mr.
This is a
Two-Face.
snakeskin cape.
But then they kind of did that in the Nolan trilogy, even though they introduced him, turned him into Two-Face, and killed him in the same movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
Should
Well, then you
revisit
have
that or not. Maybe have Harvey Dent in the trilogy, but not ever have him become Two-Face. I don't fucking know.
That'd be boring. I feel like if you have him in the first two and he's in the trilogy as Two-Face, or the third one, yeah, that would work.
Yeah, definitely introduced in the second one, turn into Mr.
Even
or
introduced at the end of the
61
first one, or somewhere in there, or mentioned, like
Well, I like to see him as Harvey Dent through a whole movie,
at least.
because that's what they would have done in the Burton films. But I don't know. There's so many villains, and I'm like, are they not going to do it because the general public doesn't know that character very well?
Batman has a pretty good
Careful with
rogues
that shelf.
gallery, but
Wiggling.
you just don't know like which ones the general public would know, right? You'd almost have to go something that was popular on one of the animated series, right?
And would they do would they do Poison Ivy?
Yeah,
Because you're going to have a woman controlling plants in this universe. I don't know.
I feel like you could get away with it if you did. It wouldn't be. You'd have to tone it down.
It would be more like she's using plants
Poisonous
to make,
plants or something and
she'd
shit.
be using poisonous plants to make stuff. She'd be like a pharmaceutical company, basically.
Feeding people to plants that eat people and shit, like
Yeah.
doing weird bioengineering and shit with them.
And I don't see him doing Man-Bat or Clayface.
I want a man bat, but yeah, it'd have to be.
I don't see him doing it in this universe. Man.
I don't know.
I would love to see a standalone Batman movie with Man-Bat in it, where it's a fucking horror film.
I'd also
where
like to
Batman's
see them do
scared
the
to death
Mask of
this
the
thing.
Phantasm, but to do like live action.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
The only thing is the twist wouldn't
Yeah.
hit right. The
Well,
second.
they have a different person.
They do a different twist, like
But you're gonna know who. I mean, you're gonna figure it out.
she's trans in the new one.
Yeah.
That's a twist. But then you're doing the
everybody's
trans
gonna say
villain
it's
thing.
woke. It's just too woke.
No, because she's a
just too
villain,
woke.
so it'd be anti-woke.
Oh, there you go. Well, then
Exactly.
then the trans community would be.
That's
in
why I
arms.
immediately was
And
like, nah, let's
then
not
we'll
do that.
We'll brain the two together.
You're looking at a very interesting way. How do you do that and make it interesting? Because, like you said, you'd have to change that twist, because otherwise everyone's gonna be like, well,
Or do the Hush, because Hush has never. Well, I guess the animated movie. I guess they have done a Hush, haven't they? But the Riddler was kind of like Hush in the first one, so. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they've done a lot of Batman animated movies, but
Yeah, they've done everything in an animated movie at this point.
I saw Killing Joke when they did it in theaters, but that one was kind of disappointing for what the source material had to provide. So,
some of the
is that the one where he banes Batgirl?
I'm pretty sure that is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was an added twist.
Pretty sure I got a free digital copy of that was something. And then I got a free digital copy of Batman Year One on like my PS3 or something.
you have the comic out there for Year One that has the discs in it.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of opportunity for Batman. Just where do you take it? Because right now we're not in a good universe where.
I think you should both watch Gotham, if not only to see the portrayal of all these other villains and shit, because that's the interesting part. Penguin and Riddler are fucking top notch. That's still my favorite Riddler.
How's Joker? I know he looks kind of.
The thing is, it's not even supposed to necessarily be the Joker. Necessarily.
Kind of like the Joaquin Phoenix movie.
Kind of.
But that might not
and
be
they
the
tiptoed
Joker.
on it a lot. And I didn't even watch that far. I think that's in the 3rd and 4th seasons. I only saw the first 2. I didn't get that far. But I saw Hugo Strange, Dr. Freeze, Riddler, Penguin, Catwoman. Because Catwoman's like a teenager with Bruce Wayne being like 13 or something when it starts.
Yeah, I'm making about the same age.
Interesting.
Yeah. I recommend it, though. I need to go back and watch it. It's on something.
Well, let's wrap this one up here. Call the night.
Wrap it up and put it in the butt. All right. Well,
push your buttons.
I am pushing buttons. I'm
Push your
giving the
buttons.
outro music.
Stay tuned next week
Basically,
when we review
some other shit.
Some more movies.
I think we might be doing Wishmaster for Haunted by Tapes. But
Yeah, that's the Haunted by Tapes.
yeah.
These are my dinner guests, the Frog Brothers. The Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers.
Shut this off. Shut these all off.